Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And there's quite a lot of important news I want to share with y'all. Now, first off, which I think is most important, is that there's a speech tomorrow at 7 p.m. Dubai time, which is Fed Bar's speech. I just want you guys to quickly understand that this is primarily going, or at least partially, going to be about crypto, their stance toward it, again, from the Fed. And recently here, everything the Fed has been doing has been put in the limelight, but just understand that we have two very important speeches from the Fed, one we just got and one tomorrow, and then our interest rate decision a little bit later throughout this month on the 22nd of March. Anyway, we've seen the Fed chair, Mr. Jerome Powell, be interestingly said crypto. Now, I'd say that the majority of us disagree with this statement, as I don't think it really makes a lot of sense. I don't think that people are buying into a CBDC for the same reason that they're buying into cryptocurrencies. So I'm not so sure there's any correlation at all, but let's leave these guys in their own respect. They don't what they're talking about, but they are partially manipulating you. And even worse than all, they're just seeking out for their own interest by kind of, how do you say it in English? Making black the good stuff. I don't know the best way to phrase it, but it's not their expertise. It's not their area. It's not what they make money in. It's actually the exact opposite. It's like a farmer, for example, being pro-farming. It's very logical that he would be against the replacement of all his farms with like new technology stuff, for example, right? Or with vegans coming in if you're a cow farmer. Yeah, it's not your thing, right? It's actually the opposite of what you like to see. And the point here is the same. It's something that they literally are afraid of the most. So logically, you're going to smack it down and you're going to look like a clown, but in their head, it's the best thing to do. Anyway, Mr. Jerome Powell, and this is very important to note, also says no one should assume the Federal Reserve can actually protect the economy in a debt default. My question comes up here and asks, what exactly can they do then? I mean, if one of the worst things that could happen, a debt default, they can't protect us from, or specifically US investors, what exactly are they good for then? Or rather, what are they doing? What type of game are they playing if they can't protect from all of that? I sometimes wonder. Fed Chair Powell targets bringing inflation back to 2%. We have just read about it. Bitcoin price stays around 22. Yeah, again, the whole inflation narrative is becoming kind of strange right now, as the policy does not necessarily reflect what we expected to happen. We've been talking about it for a little while, and all of a sudden, during all this turmoil regarding their new policy, we also get a little bit in regards to crypto, like we've covered yesterday. Mr. Powell acknowledges crypto risks, but warns against regulations that could stifle the innovation. And I always keep thinking about the SEC and their job of partially leaving all these guys like FTX to just run their course. But then when it comes to the proper companies, yeah, they're definitely not doing their job properly. And I have an example of it. Hopefully I can find it somewhere. Here we go. The Ripple lawsuit showcases that, or the judge rather says, the SEC lawyers prioritize their personal agenda over the law. Again, March 8th here, Voyager is another example of a federal judge deciding the SEC's arguments are 100% without merit. Recent examples. The Ripple case. A federal judge, let's give it a little second for it to load in. A federal judge in a written ruling literally stated SEC lawyers were being hypocrites and that they lacked faithful allegiance to the law. In Ripple, the judge said SEC lawyers are more interested in advancing their own agenda than adhering to the law. Think about how significant that is. How do SEC lawyers enforce the law if they don't themselves honor the law? As a former federal prosecutor, I'd be ashamed. Library case, soon I will be able to publish on crypto law the transcripts of the latest 2 hearings in the library case. And when you read them, you will see how the judge pleaded with the SEC to provide clarity for the users of the platform and the secondary market. The SEC basically told the judge it doesn't do that, it doesn't provide clarity, and that's why I can filed amicus briefs, so try to support the court, to, at a minimum, make sure the judge doesn't order or the judge's order doesn't apply to secondary market transactions. You will see just how frustrated the judge got with the SEC and number 3 here, Voyager. But you guys understand the whole principle of things. The judge and other parties here are starting to notice the SEC's endeavors here. They're not proper to follow the law or make proper law. It seems to be for some sort of unjust cause, which partially could be to just either be anti-crypto or to fund their own career. We've seen it with the Bitcoin ETF in regards to Grayscale, and we've just kept on seeing it. One judge said to the SEC attorney, "You say they must provide you with more data, but you won't identify what type of additional data they need to provide," or words to that effect. You guys understand, the SEC is not trying to give us the proper clarity. They're just trying to say, nah, you're doing it wrong, and then not, basically continue on with that. Now, another point I'm trying to make here, another thing I'd like to prove is that in general, the crypto space keeps expanding. Like, for example, Binance. They just keep adding more and more proof of the reserves because, well, we're going towards a new standard as time progresses of making sure that all the tokens can be confirmed and can be verified. I think that's the new standard we need to get to, and it's well right on their way. And it does always still surprise me whenever I read all these fuddy articles like this one. Former SEC lawyer issues a warning that Binance is an FTX redux. An epic bank run seems inevitable. And honestly, I don't believe it's going to happen, just being honest with you here. I don't have any crazy insights into the Binance balance sheets. And again, guys, I am not your financial advisor. I want you guys to understand that really clearly here. I'm not your financial advisor. I can't guarantee that Binance will forever stay around. What I can tell you, however, is that I'm personally extremely bullish on the platform. Also, for that matter, I'm still using Bybit all the time. I will always have a link down below to Bybit. And the thing here is as well, to some degree, you always have to trust in some people. You can always say, yeah, but I trust the government. Some people don't, and for good reason they don't. Well, you can always say, oh, but I trust it. What exactly is there to trust? And another ethical question you should ask yourself is, what exactly do you own that they could never take away from you? That's another reason why we get into crypto and why I don't think exchanges are that bad, because they provide you with something that nobody can ever take away from you again. Think about that for a second. All these banks, all these other guys, they don't do that. Even if you think you're going to your bank for a loan and you're getting yourself a home, just look into the law, right? Anything you own can be taken away from you again. Realize that for a second. I say the only things that can never be taken away from you are either knowledge, things that are stuck in your head, and things that are not touchable, which is to some degree crypto's weak point and to some degree one of the biggest crypto strong points. And the fact that these crypto exchanges are the providers of things that can never be taken away from you again, whereas these major banks and other institutions, they only provide you with stuff that indeed can always be taken back, kind of inherently makes them less risky if you think about it. But that's maybe one that's a little bit too far-fetched for some people. It's just the way that I see it, right? It's just something I wanted to make clear. Anyway, the point here also being, they always give Binance a bad look. I think it's because they just want to prevent something along the lines of FTX happening, or they're just afraid of Binance taking over. That's not a US company. And what I'm thinking, right, I've talked about this a lot. It really probably isn't that Binance is actually doing a lot of scary stuff. They're just trying to beat them to it. They're just trying to say some funny stuff prior to them ever doing anything bad. And additionally, it's them being afraid. So it's the two of those. Anyway, there's an article that I think was really interesting. Apparently, 40,000 Bitcoin were just moved on Coinbase by the US government. What's happening? Okay. Moved by the US government unexpected, yet should not really affect market performance of Bitcoin. Glassnode just posted approximately 40,000 Bitcoin from wallets associated with the US government law enforcement seizures are on the move. Of these, the majority appear to be internal transfers. So far, however, approximately 10,000 Bitcoin seized from Silk Road hacker have been sent to our Coinbase cluster. And so apparently the US government is parading a little bit of money around. Now, from as far as I understand, they're referring back to the Silk Road right here. They're referring back to the transactions and everything. I'm just going to assume here that it has been confirmed that is the truth. I must tell you, however, that I don't know all the full details here. Anyway, what you guys all need to understand is that regardless of all this FUD that you keep seeing, you'll see it time and time again. But a bigger question you should ask yourself is, when exactly do you consider the bull market to be back? Do we think it's already back right now? There's some good reasons as to say it is. There's also some good reason as to say it's not, and it won't be for a long time. All I know is I'll keep buying more crypto every single day. And I do believe as well still that if we look back at the crypto prices in about a year from now, about a year and a half from now, because again, we have ourselves the halving between March and May of 2024. I've shared this over on my my Twitter already, but any sheet here goes. In March to May of 2024, we're gonna see another halving, and the probability of the price just moving up along that time frame is just extremely high. It just keeps working in cycles. And I just personally think if you just buy crypto right now and close your eyes and don't look back at it again, you'll look back at all this rather soon and you'll have made a ton of money. And that's the most important part. Anyway, from tomorrow on forward, I'm going to make sure I post one daily either tutorial or trading video every single day. Why is that? It's because I've been doing so much stuff in the background and I'm leaving you guys out of it. I've mostly been sharing all my investment sides of things, but I'm getting kind of bored of that. I've noticed that a lot of you guys don't watch every single video I make, and so the negative part about this investment scheme is if you miss one video, you might miss out on the best banger out of all of them and then not have the greatest of success. If I just share with you guys more day-to-day updates about my trades, that might actually be a little bit better for a lot of y'all's success. So I'm going to also try to make a lot more trading tutorials for completely free, just post them over on YouTube, and a lot of crypto basic tutorials as well, like how to get started with MetaMask, for example. I notice a lot of people don't know that stuff. And if there's anything you'd like to know about, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to try and make a ton of educational content and tutorials for how to use these platforms, and just a lot of cool stuff is coming. And of course, guys, I'll also be including day. So don't worry about that, but I'm going to try just be a little bit more helpful. Today I had another reflection. I had to sit back down and think, what exactly am I making these videos for? I've made my money. I've had my attention. It's all not that important to me anymore. I sincerely feel the most important thing is not being a mentor type of figure. I'd say I'm not really in that phase just quite yet, but in a spread as much knowledge as I can to as many people as possible to hopefully give them the same sort of life that I've got now. I just know that it's so possible, and that's why I keep sharing all these things with you guys. Anyway, that's it for this crypto video. See you guys later in another one. Peace out.